Hello, hello, Martin here with your property clinic. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget that you can ask me questions on a Monday. That's the day I've designated as Ask Marty Monday. Hashtag Ask Marty Monday on my property clinic on my Twitter, which is at TV Martin Roberts. You've got any questions for me from the world of property, from the world of TV, from the world of the world, and then I'll pick out some of them and answer them in this property clinic. I hope you're all right as we hopefully come slightly more towards an end of this rubbish. Start with Wendy. Hello, Wendy. Really appreciate your questions. Well done, your victory on Celebrity Mastermind. Well, yes, if you didn't see it, I am as a Celebrity Mastermind champion for that particular episode. Yeah, I was very proud. Yeah, it was cool. What was it like sitting in the black chair? Was it nerve-wracking? Well, yes, not as much as it was the first time, because I've done it twice. I did it 10 years ago. And then it was in front of a live studio audience, which definitely makes it worse. And it was the first time I'd done it, which definitely makes it worse. This time, there wasn't any live studio audience, and I was a little bit more aware of what was going on. So it was actually, it wasn't as daunting this time as it was the previous time. But it's still a whole thing, if you know, your knowledge is just being quizzed in front of all these people who are watching on television, and you've got John Humphreys there just doing a really good job of interrogating you. It's now John Humphreys sadly leaving. You might have read that after 18 years of doing the show, but it was talking about the history of Mastermind, and it was developed by a guy who was actually a prisoner of war in Germany, and he based it on the interrogations of the Gestapo. So anything, you know, anybody who thinks there is that element of that kind of level of intensity is right, because that's where it started. So yeah, wow, I didn't know that. I mean, you kind of figured that it kind of mirrors that kind of style, but not that it was actually based on it. I mean, wow. So it's designed to be nerve-wracking. And you know what? Sometimes people don't do very well in the general knowledge questions or their own questions. And it's a classic case of if you ask them the same questions, not in that chair, under the same circumstances, they'd answer them easy peasy, but you're not. If you are in that chair, in those circumstances, that's what makes all the difference. Carol Reese. Hi, Carol. Congratulations on your win. Thank you, Carol. You definitely vindicated yourself, yeah. What was the charity you played for? So it was my own charity. And that's not a charity that benefits Martin, just in case you are confused. I'm just the patron of my own charity, which is a children's charity called the Martin Roberts Foundation. And you can find out more about that at sadsville.co.uk. And Sadsville is the children's book which I've written, which is supposed to just help children get through emotional troubles, and even more poignant, primary school age children, even more poignant at this point. So check out sadsville.co.uk. And that's all done under the auspices of a fully regulated charity, which has a board of trustees, and I'm not on it, obviously, called the Martin Roberts Foundation. So that's what it was. One thing we wondered, what was the price you paid for, or its worth, or of the very rare and expensive Thunderbird puppet? They never did say the programme. Well, I don't know they'd say how much it's worth. I know they'd say how much I paid for it. I don't know their business. I actually can't remember. You know, for a puppet, it's quite a lot. But it's priceless, right? I mean, they threw the majority of the puppets and all the sets away in skips. Can you believe it? Well, this is in those days. It's 1960s, you know, 70s. It was a skip. And the puppet I've got is actually was rescued from a skip. Yeah. So, what's it worth? Priceless to me. Ms. H. Hello, Ms. H. Hi, Martin. What do you think of this rush to buy properties in the country, and is it pushing up prices? Is it going to continue, or do you think the bubble will burst and towns will get bored and move back? I think once you discover the joy of living in the country, you're probably not going to go back to city life. One of the big things, obviously, that made people live in cities is its proximity to work. You know, the majority of the work places were in the cities, and it was really important to commute. And to cut down commute time, you lived close to where you worked. It's a classic thing. But obviously one of the things that's happened is we've all started working from home. We've all discovered that actually it's possible. Now, it has lots of advantages. It has lots of disadvantages. Socialising being one thing, bouncing around ideas being another. I mean, I can carry on, couldn't I? But there's plus sides. Plus side is you don't have to travel, and you can work from anywhere. So I think the drive to moving elsewhere will continue. And, you know, we've got a few things going on. We've got furlough ending at the same time as stamp duty holiday ending, and people are concerned about what that's going to do to the property market. Property market doesn't like uncertainty, so what's going to happen to the global economy, But I still come back to the basics, that we haven't got enough houses in this country, and if you're investing in any commodity, invest in one where there aren't enough of whatever people you're trying to sell, right? So I think people, once they've discovered the country, will stay there. Posh Sidhu, hello. Hi Martin. I'll be advertising my house for sale soon. Do I have to accept the agent's valuation if I don't agree with it? Can I insist on the advertising for much higher? Well, yeah, absolutely. Sure, actually do what you want with it. Now, just be aware that there are situations sometimes where you'll have 2 or 3 estate agents around, and one of them will suggest a higher price just to get your business. That doesn't mean it's a realistic price. So don't be sucked into that. Do your own due diligence, and if you think the price is too high, be suspicious. If you think the price is too low, well, put it at a higher price. What can you got nothing to lose, have you? You can't force you to sell it. So put it at a high price. Yeah, see what happens. Toby France. Hi, Toby. The fixed term of my mortgage ends in June, and the bank encouraged me to remortgage now. Seems a bit premature. Am I better off waiting until near the time as house prices are likely to rise post-lockdown and improve the loan to value? You know what? You can get something called analysis paralysis, where you just spend all your life waiting for the perfect opportunity where every single duck is aligned. If there's a good deal on offer, go for it, and don't just forget about it. You might be able to get a better deal in the future, but you might be able to get a worse deal. We should have all bought bitcoins when they were worth 50p, right? Now they're worth 50,000 quid. But we didn't. Well, I didn't. Did you? No, exactly. So what do we do? Beat yourselves up about it? Or do you think, well, are they going to go up any higher? I might buy some more. Are they going to crash? You take your risks. I mean, it's risk assessment, isn't it? Blah, blah, blah. So if you're being offered a mortgage you can afford, seems fair, well, go for it. Cheer me up. Hello, cheer me up. Which question did you hope most had come up on your Mastermind Society subject but never got asked? Well, I mean, I did study quite hard for my Thunderbird speciality subject. In case you don't know, that's what I did. So I had to watch every single episode they ever filmed, 32 episodes. I have to say, brilliant. Even after all this time, totally stacks up. And I also read a major book called The Vault, which is all about Jerry Anderson and Thunderbirds, and it might be about other things as well, but like Stingray and Joe 19. But I did not know that the Thunderbirds, Scott, Virgil, John, were named after actual astronauts at the time. John Glenn. I don't remember the numbers, others, but I did at the time when I'd done my, it's like with cramming for exams or for Mastermind. You kind of, lots of information is there and then it gets deleted. But yeah, they were all astronauts at the time. So I would have liked to have asked that question. The Real Lass of Lancashire. Morning, Martin. We'll have to find the episode. I think she's talking about Mastermind there. Well, question for you. How can I persuade my landlord to replace the back gate, door and window frame to more energy efficient models? Currently all wooden, residing here 7.5 years, no debt on rent. Thank you. I think as long as the house is fit for you to live in it. Okay, so here's the thing. In order to rent out a property does have to have a certain level of energy performance. And you get that from having something called an energy performance certificate done. So you might want to ask your landlord, have they had an energy performance certificate done recently? Because I think they last 5 years. And if he hasn't had one done recently, well, he needs to have one done. And that might throw up other things that could be done, replacing light bulbs with LED ones if you haven't done that already. I don't know, they wouldn't probably go to the lengths of suggesting replacing window frames. But you might want to appeal to his moral and green side, and you never know. But certainly there should be an EPC in place. Joshua Rutherford, hello Joshua. What made you get into properties? Oh, well, my dad was heavily into DIY, and I sort of followed what he did. And when I got my first house, I just did loads of DIY on it. And surprised to myself, why 2 years later, I came to sell it, and it had gone up loads in value. It was almost doubled in value. So I just thought, oh, well, there you go. You can actually make some money from property. And that was the big shift for me, that a house wasn't somewhere that you just live in. It was somewhere that you actually can make money from. And so that started the whole property developing career. But it sort of grew up in a house where it was, And apparently my grandfather was from Liverpool. got offered a whole street of houses in Liverpool back in the 1930s for like 100 quid or something. And his wife dissuaded him from buying them. So obviously my grandfather, great-grandfather, not grandfather, was a property type entrepreneur. So maybe I've inherited it from him. Gemstar, well done Martin on your win. You were fab, thank you. Just wondering, was that a lucky shirt you were wearing on Mastermind? It's very nice. Well, thank you very much. I do like that shirt. Is it lucky? Well, I do. You know what? I do sort of have a sort of lucky kind of scenario thing going on. Sometimes you have lucky objects of clothing, socks, underpants, trousers, whatever it might be. I guess I'll have to wear it again and see what happens. And if there's a running theme that shirt is good for me, then I should become suspicious. People do that, don't they? Footballers have things that they do, and we all have it. And as long as it doesn't get in the way of your life, what damage does it do, eh? Andon, on Mastermind, you mentioned your Thunderbird's puppet. What character is it? Well, it's a character called Slim, and he was used in 2 episodes. One, he was the policeman in Martian Invasion. And it's a picture. That's what he looked like. Yep. And I think they recycle the puppets, and I think he was also a reporter in, I think, the episode where the Empire State Building was being moved and it fell over or collapsed or something. I think he might have been in that as well. Angry Potato. Hi, Angry. Who's your favourite Thunderbird? Well, you know what? I like Scott. I mean, I actually named my son Scott. There's no coincidence. Because he, you know what, he's sort of in charge, isn't he? I mean, he goes in there and he assesses the situation, then Virgil comes with the backup in, you know, the big Thunderbird. And, yeah, so probably Scott. Toby France, hello Toby, again. 2 questions. Oh, yeah, you can ask as many questions as you like. I've had an extension, will need a new valuation when I remortgage to benefit from better loan to value. How are these being done currently, as websites like Zoopla don't take into account the value I've added to the property, only the market trend based on the previous sales value? Look, you'll have a valuer from the mortgage company come out, Toby, and they will do a valuation, not based on what Zoopla says. They will take comparables, but they know their onions, so don't worry about it. It will be sorted. Anne Morey, hello Anne. Milk, full fat or semi. One of the joys of having kids was having the reintroduction of full fat milk, because I think that's what they have when they're younger. Well, anyway, I found the excuse that was it. And so, yeah, I'm afraid I'm a full fat kind of milk guy. Having said that, I have discovered soya milk, and to be honest, it does a darn fine job of replacing milk. And in certain things like a latte, I now, like in Costa or whatever, I now ask for a soya latte because I actually can't tell the difference. But if it's on a bowl of cereals, you can't beat plain, simple, full fat. And we've even now got like a milk delivery thing that happens. So it comes in the little bottles. Do you remember bottles? I used to help out the local milkman delivering milk 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was, on his milk float, electric milk float. As a kid, I used to love it. Something really nice about that time of the day. And delivering bottles of milk. And, you know, it's just intrinsically the most environmentally friendly, recycly, greeny kind of thing, isn't it? Because it's like a bottle that you send back and they recycle and put more milk in it. It's like, wow, no plastic waste. You know, maybe a few tin bottle tops, but even they're recyclable. You know, no cardboard waste. There's a bottle that gets washed. Boom. It's like, if it hadn't been invented 50 years ago, people are going, oh my gosh, we've come up with this great idea. We're going to put the milk in bottles. Really? Yeah. And we just wash the bottles. Huh? What a great idea. What, reuse them? Yeah. Wow. Brilliant. I never ever think of that before. Anyway, light it up. Full fat. On crunching at cornflakes. Ugh. You like crunching cornflakes? Steve-O. Hi Martin. Congrats on winning Mastermind. Thank you. Was just wondering, do you have a fitness regime you stick to? I try, but you know, try to do a bit of exercise every day. Often fail. Leslie Bowman, hello Leslie. Do you ever meet any of the estate agents? Do you have a favourite? Ours is Ron Donington. Well, I normally turn up by the time they've done their thing, so I don't see them very often, but I do see them every now and again, and they are a great bunch. Impossible to pick out a favourite. They do a great, bear in mind they're estate agents, they're not TV presenters, but some of them have really warmed to it, and yeah, they've really become little stars of the show, haven't they? Feathers and Wings. Hello, Feathers and Wings. Hi, Martin. Do I have the right to see the lease of a leaseholder's property in my block? It's a local authority property, they're the freeholders, converted to flats, and we, the tenants, are having issues. Should the freeholders show to us if asked? I don't think you necessarily do have a right to see the lease of a leaseholder in your property. However, I would have thought there would be some agreement, there should be a master agreement of things that any tenant needs to do, which the freeholder put in place. So you could ask for the generic terms of occupation, and if the person you're having a problem with is not upholding those terms, which are generic, so be a bit more generic. Do you have a generic lease? Might be a good question to ask. Then if they're not upholding those, then I think you would have issues, and you could certainly go back. Beth and G, do you prefer orange juice with bits on there? I love these kind of questions. I am a totally more bits the better kind of guy. Orange juice with loads of bits. If they've got extra bits, fantastic. The best thing of all, of course, is freshly squeezed orange juice. You cannot believe it. And here's a little thing. Try it with ginger biscuits, okay? Dip ginger biscuits into your orange juice. It's amazing. Nick B, congratulations to win, Martin. I'm Nick. Very well deserved, thank you. Were you aware that there's a dedicated Homes of the Hammer channel on Pluto TV? It's on 24/7 and showing from series 2 onwards. Brilliant classic stuff with you and Lucy, of course, the dream team. Thank you. Wow, no, Pluto TV, what's that? I need to check that out. Wow, why didn't they get series 1? But that's amazing. Final question from Dave Starsky. Martin, do you keep an empty bottle in your car as an emergency toilet for long journeys? No, but we've all been in that situation, haven't we? We've been stuck in a traffic jam thinking, I need to go to the toilet. What am I going to do? But I don't think I have resorted to anything like emptying into a bottle. But a nice question, Dave, thank you. So thank you for your questions. Don't forget that you can send me more on Monday, Ask Martin Monday. You can always send questions to this YouTube channel as well. Hashtag Ask Martin Monday is the hashtag on Twitter at TV Martin Roberts. And make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back next week with more of your questions and answers.